Vehicle still eastbound Slauson, approaching San Pedro. Correction through San Pedro.
Eastbound Slauson through Avalon.
Commander 1 Adam, confirm the vehicles eastbound Slauson. Through Avalon. Commander 1 Adam, there's a 2-year-old in the car, the victim's son.
The choppers are supposedly on their way over there. There's supposed to be a 2-year-old toddler in the vehicle. I don't have a video feed yet, so we're just waiting, but
number 1 lane still.
It's kind of crazy. Supposedly there's a child in the car.
It's going to be a red highlight signal up ahead at Central.
Yeah,
he's got traffic in all 3 lanes. And he's
less than 10 minutes? Okay, so less than 10 minutes for the chopper. Can you send me the feed, can you show me the chopper thing?
Central,
that's
from Slauson.
Can I see yeah, how do you do that? Send me that link.
Vehicles northbound Central from Slauson driving on the wrong side of the lane.
Let me optimize this. So, guys, we're waiting right now for the chopper to get there. Oh, is this guy? What's the video feed? Somebody's driving up there?
Oh. They're still northbound on Central, approaching 5-1.
Vehicles northbound Central, approaching 5-1.
Thank you. All right, let's see.
Northbound 348.
That's what it is. About 50 miles an hour. So if we get somebody over in a major Washington, Maine somewhere who might be available for spikes, let's see if we can get that set up.
All right, opposite lanes of traffic coming up on Vernon.
Vehicle still northbound. Slauson and 48 approaching Vernon.
Stuff?
Correction, westbound Vernon. 1020 is requesting units with spike strips. Washington and Maine.
Do I go to Los Angeles? I just type it.
Control, if we could have a unit respond, or any unit respond on Vernon, maybe at Maine, or Vernon at Broadway, possibly if he stays on Vernon with spikes, we'll try to get him out in front. Coming up on cross traffic here, guys, Avalon. And he's going to continue through Avalon, still westbound on Vernon.
Vehicles westbound Vernon at Avalon. Air units requesting a new unit or any unit to respond with spike strips, Vernon and Maine.
Okay, less than 5 minutes, guys, they say. Waiting on the choppers to get there. I don't know how to pull up choppers on this thing. Or what do you press or whatever? Yeah, is that why?
Now we're through Broadway, still westbound on Vernon. And cross traffic ahead, this.
Vehicles still westbound Vernon.
I'm sorry, that was me. We're coming up on Broadway now.
Correction, the vehicle is westbound Vernon at Maine, coming up on Broadway now.
This shit has me over here. Oh, here we go.
All right,
hey,
approaching the 110.
Chopper's on the way.
Vehicles westbound Vernon approaching the 110 freeway.
Still westbound, approaching Figueroa. He's going to continue through Figueroa. So let's see if we can get maybe Southwest or 77th on Vernon at Crenshaw, or Vernon at Western with a spike strip, and have them switch over to Southwest.
Today, Maddie, it was good. I had a good day today.
Entries requesting unit Vernon and Crenshaw, Vernon and Western with a spike strip, and switch to Central Base. Vehicle passing westbound Vernon.
Pretty good chill day. As well as audio in my ear. 211 carjacking 2-year-old in the car. Also carjacking 2-year-old in the car.
Still westbound Vernon through Vermont.
Vehicles westbound Vernon through Vermont.
Yeah, Los Angeles. Waiting for the choppers to get there. What's up, everybody? Welcome. If you could hit like. Thanks for stopping by. I was actually in bed. I was kind of like getting ready for bed, and then it's like some sort of chase. I was like, oh, okay. Been wanting one for the last couple of days. No chopper feed yet. Should be soon. I think these are them on the way.
Westbound on Vernon approaching Normandy.
Vehicle is westbound Vernon approaching Normandy.
Normandy, huh?
Flight control, who's the primary unit?
1829.
1829 and 1L20 is in the schematic copy. Hey, unit 2, I'm going to be getting relieved here shortly. I'll let you know when that happens. We're continuing westbound Vernon, and we're through Tinker.
Units westbound Vernon through Dinker.
That's why 51's around 2 Vernon and Western.
Okay. You have the tweet? Oh, on Twitter. CBS?
Westbound through St. Andrews.
Amazing.
Still on Vernon.
Amazing. Amazing.
Vehicles westbound Vernon through St. Andrews. 2851 is responding with spike strips.
Oh, spike strips? Oh,
Watch out, Corey, switch to Central. Have them set up at Crenshaw, Vernon and Crenshaw. Hopefully he continues on Vernon.
Young child was in the vehicle at the time of the Grand Theft Auto. Now, it's not clear if that child is still in the back seat. There was about 10 minutes between when the car was carjacked and when LAPD not clear if that child was on the vehicle. So it's not clear if that child was dropped off by the suspect or got out of the car, or if the child is still in the back of the vehicle. But that's why LAPD is taking this one very gingerly, thinking that there is a possibility of a young child in the back seat. Unclear if there's anyone else inside. Pit maneuvers definitely out of the question. Possibly some spike strips. We've been primarily in South LA, but we're now westbound on Vernon Avenue, now crossing Van Ness. Jeff and Susie.
Well, that's pretty scary stuff when you think about a child being inside of a car and you see it going this fast. You see the police helicopter overhead as well. But Susie, we do have what's known to be a driver wanted for Grand Theft Auto, a young child in the car at the time of the theft. But they're talking about a lapse of time where maybe that child might have got out.
Yeah, we're hoping that child somehow got out of the car, whether the person actually let that child out or somehow that child got out. We don't know how old that child is, but we do know that there is a possibility that they might still be inside this car right now. So the LAPD, if that is the case, of course, taking all precautions, as Desmond was talking about, the pursuit protocols definitely are going to be different in this case because of the heightened danger with someone else inside this car. It looks like they are coming towards Sky 9 now as they make that right turn right there. Desmond, are we in a neighborhood, in a residential neighborhood now?
Yeah, just turned away here from Vernon and north on 8th Avenue. So we're in the Leimert Park area, residential streets. This was LAPD's Central Division that was that has been in pursuit of this. So that's kind of around the downtown LA area. So not clear where exactly this started, but we're kind of looping around South LA for a little bit and now headed back on 42nd Street. So kind of hanging around the same area here. Haven't traversed too much area, but still kind of in that difficult airspace for us. You can see LAPD's spotlight overhead, but they are definitely going to keep with this one regardless of what happens. They definitely want to use some spike strips. They actually were set up very well for it right there where we were approaching, and then the suspect turned away and was
so he avoided it.
able to evade that intersection, and now they're headed back towards the east on this one. And so we're 42nd Street coming up on Arlington.
Okay, well, we're going to let Des take a quick break here while we continue to look at these live pictures. LAPD in pursuit of a driver wanted for grand theft auto. We understand the vehicle was taken, and the victim of that vehicle, the person that had the car stolen from them, reported their young son in the back seat of that car.
Shit,
so we don't
how
know
did
the
that happen?
exact age, but when you hear young son, Susie, you know that obviously is a very young age. It is, however, unclear if the child is still in that vehicle.
And we don't know the circumstances of how this car was taken. We're not calling this a carjacking as far as we know, so maybe it wasn't by force. Maybe the child was inside that car while the person was, maybe away from the car for just a minute to get something or to grab something, and then they come back and see that the car is gone, and that's perhaps when they called police. But again, this is a very dangerous situation for the LAPD tonight, as there is possibly a child inside this car that they are pursuing for grand theft auto. We're going to join KCAL 9 News' Pat Harvey and Juan Fernandez on the other side on KCAL 9 News at 9. But as we show you these pictures live from Sky 9 right now, it looks like the suspect could be giving up or just pulling over for just a second, Jeff, and then they continue again.
Yeah, the driver without headlights on. This is a 2013 Dodge Dart that we understand is the description. A number of police vehicles behind this suspect vehicle. As Des mentioned, they are going to want to put spike strips in front of this vehicle to slow it down. This pit maneuver is not going to be something they want to do with a young child possibly involved. Pat Harvey, Juan Fernandez are standing by for KCAL 9 News at 9 with more on this.
All right, Jeff and Susie, thank you very much. Breaking news coverage continuing here. A pursuit of a carjacking suspect with that possibility that there may be a young child in the backseat of that car.
Yeah, we're talking about grand theft auto here of a white Dodge Dart, year 2013. Right now, they're in the Leimert Park area, and Desmond Shaw has been following this. He's live overhead. Hi, Des. Fill us in.
Yeah, Pat and Juan, it's just a really stressful one, thinking about the possibility that there could be an innocent young child in the back seat. That is, we're not sure if that's the case, but the reason why we say that is because the victim of this grand theft auto, that is why this pursuit is happening right now, called and said that their young child was in the back seat at the time of
Maybe I can do it. How's the camera? Does it look...
Now, there was some time between when that happened and when LAPD responded.
Is it a different angle?
About 10 minutes. So it's possible that the child was dropped off or was able to get out of the vehicle, but that's not a great situation either, because you might have a young child somewhere on the streets of LA. So it's really not clear. Either way, it is not a great...
What's up, everybody in the chat?
Speeds were not very high when we were first
wait, is it going fast now?
But now really starting to speed up here on 6th Avenue as we come around. And again, we have to give you this wider shot here because it is in
So he avoided the spike strips.
Obviously, LAPD, they have the priority.
And
so we're following their spotlight.
They think there's a 2-year-old inside.
Dart, westbound on 8th Avenue, back into Leimert Park.
Desmond, is the driver of this car basically
and so they're trying to be careful how they
you mentioned
approach
you're in that flight restricted area. Is that the case right now?
Yeah, I think this pursuit has been in the LAX airspace pretty much the whole time that we've heard about it here. And just as they kind of start to get away from that airspace, they've been kind of circling back into it. And now they're making a left, which is going to be even worse for us as far as providing a good picture. Southbound here, you see Leimert and 46 going into Hyde Park. So headed farther down into South LA. and wrong side of the street here. Actually, I didn't even realize because we were looking from a distance. But so you're on Crenshaw Boulevard. That's the brand new Crenshaw line in the middle, and this suspect on the wrong side of the street. And that's why you see LAPD now backing off. They're going to parallel on the right side of the street. They will not follow in wrong way traffic, even if the suspect does this.
Wow, look at this.
Very desperate maneuver, maybe even knowing that LAPD is going to have to back off a little bit. So.
This is
just horrible to watch this, especially if there's a child in the car.
Yeah, I was going to say, Desmond, certainly in this circumstance, we really hope that there is not a child in that car. I was wondering when we first went on the air with this, because I haven't heard the circumstances around why this car was taken. If the driver, that's a close call. Now,
what are you doing?
This is getting even more, a more dangerous situation here. And he continues to drive. And those other cars, to their credit, are actually dodging this car and this driver. I was wondering if possibly this driver of this vehicle knows the victim and the child, but that's just a possibility. You know, we hear of these situations where you can have a domestic situation, and the father will kidnap the child, basically, but we don't know if that's the case here.
That's correct. We have certainly covered situations like that in the past, and you always have to wonder if that is what's happening here. But unconfirmed if this was just a completely random act, or if there is any kind of connection between the suspect and the victim. We just really wonder if that child is in the back seat, and LAPD's been desperately trying to figure that out. The helicopter overhead was actually talking to the ground units. Try to find out if you can see if there's anyone else in that vehicle. They really need to learn that. But now we're headed back eastbound. So 54th Street, really hanging around the same kind of area. Saw that crazy maneuver there on Crenshaw. Incredibly difficult situation for LAPD with this one. The pit maneuver, one of their best techniques, out of the question at this point. They're going to want to use spike strips at some point, but it's really difficult when the suspect keeps turning onto different streets. The best they can do is have some spikes set up at some major intersections, maybe get those cleared of any civilians, and try to deploy that. But very difficult nonetheless.
I was going to ask, do we know if any maneuvers have been made up until this point? Have we seen a spike strip? Do we know if this car could possibly have damage or to one of the tires on the car?
I don't believe there have been any successful spike attempts. I haven't heard that. I've just heard the chatter about them trying to set it up. They were ready and were nearly able to do it just before we came to the 9 o'clock KCAL. The suspect was driving. Oh, you know what? He must have. Did you see that tire?
Yes, it looked like something flew off.
Tire came off.
Yes.
Something came off.
So you know what? And look, there goes some more. So I think this vehicle has been
what kind of car is that?
At least one spike strip. So we can tell.
Not a good look.
Yeah, I think definitely down one tire at this point. So at some point there was, it looks like, a successful spike strip, and there was going to be another one, but the suspect turned away from it about one block too soon. There was another one right there. They tried to throw out a spike strip.
They missed him.
I'm not sure if that one was successful, but we've seen some rubber fly off of one of those wheels. Definitely down at least one wheel here, and we'll see how the driver and this vehicle respond.
Yeah, what's real interesting, if we didn't see it, right, happening from your
shop.
Chris
Cross, thanks for being a member. 4 months, amazing.
Didn't see it either, and he ran over those spike strips, and those tires are slowly starting to deflate. Hopefully he got more than one, because that would definitely help bring this to an end. But
he's still going, though.
By this point,
doesn't seem to be having any problems.
He's in trouble. The car is going to start having
problems. car is damaged, because it looked like it was not level when Desmond took that close-up shot. And this is probably, the closest that we've seen it since we've been on the air. Still can't tell if there's anyone in the back seat
or not. Is there a baby in there?
This driver is certainly still driving at picking up speeds. There was a moment, Desmond, I believe, before Juan and I were on the air with you, that we thought this driver was possibly trying to stop. Maybe they were possibly trying to avoid a spike strip, but we certainly don't see this driver stopping right now.
No, and we just heard here from the
they don't even seem phased by the tires coming off.
All 4 tires have been affected by the spike strip. So we saw it looked like the rubber separated from one of the wheels, and the other 3 tires are deflated at this point. So it's definitely going to make it difficult for this driver. We really don't want to see
going to make turns? How's he going to stop? Can he stop? Is the shit just going to slide?
Lose control of this vehicle. So we're coming out of the LAX airspace here, and we'll hopefully be able to bring you a better shot. We're now headed towards the 10 freeway northbound on Western. And again, spike strips have been successful. It takes some time for all of the tires to deflate, but
with those spike strips,
one tire, and we'll see how long the other ones last.
Well, I thought they said all the other, so they got all of them, but one's down. The thing with the spike strips was it just rips off the tire, so he's just running on rims.
You know, we wanted to show our viewers a replay, if we will, on the left side of your screen.
Oh,
this is when those tires just start to
rolled off?
Fly. Well, the right side. They just start to fly off that vehicle.
Right there.
Yeah, you can see the rubber just really separating.
Quite a bit too, huh?
And according to LAPD, all 4 tires were struck and are deflated. And now we see that this driver is on a narrow street, Ron, 39th Street and Gramercy Place in South Los Angeles. Desmond, does this look familiar to you since you've been following this, or is this a new street possibly? New route?
Well, it's a new street, but the driver's kind of been in the same quadrant since we picked it up. They were briefly east of the 110, but then came west, kind of hanging around the Leimert Park area, West Adams area.
Oh, it's slow now.
We saw him go about as far west, I think, as Crenshaw.
Is that it? Oh,
going kind of between Crenshaw and Vermont, and then it was on 54th, now on 39th. So same kind of general area. I don't think they've been specifically on this one street, and it is a narrow residential street, but primarily residential street since we picked this one up. And, you know, hopefully the vehicle is not going to be capable of high speeds at this point. And then, you know, even when this vehicle does inevitably come to a stop, then it's going to be, you know, what do they do next? Are they going to try to rush up and overwhelm the suspect and try to, if there is still a child in the back, you know, to try to immediately rescue them? Or does it turn into a standoff situation or what? It's just a very difficult situation all the way around for LAPD, and they've got to be thinking about, you know, what is the tactic when this does stop.
Well, we're hoping here that the LAPD already knows that maybe that child was dropped off or maybe is not in the car at this time, because as we've been mentioning here, with 4 blown out tires, it shouldn't take long for this pursuit to come to an end. But then, as you mentioned, Desmond, will it become a standoff? Will this driver, you know, just take off running or just keep police at bay there sitting in the car? So still just a lot to wonder. And also, we haven't mentioned whether or not this person might be armed or not, or what were the circumstances with that car being stolen in the first place.
I'm assuming, though, they ran the plates. That's probably why they know that it, well, the victim reported it, right? That this was her car. That it was a female victim, and this car was stolen from her. Don't know any other circumstances surrounding this was a random theft, or again, if they possibly knew each other, especially
Darren, thank you so much for the super chat.
You know, you hate to think
that's
this
Darren.
would just steal a car knowing a child was inside.
Yo, I was in Publix today, and I heard somebody, I think he said, I forgot exactly what he said, hey man, or hey something, whatever. And I was looked over, and he was like, yeah, you know, I watch your channel. So that was really dope. Nice guy, man. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you for watching. That's been happening quite frequently lately. Last time was the Beach. The other time was Starbucks. And the other time before that was I was at the thrift store, the furniture thrift store area.
Perhaps somebody saw an opportunity to jump
appreciate
in a car
that, man. Thank you.
Running, didn't
Nice
know there
meeting
was
you.
a child inside, and took off with a car, just hoping to steal one. But again, those are many different scenarios that we're looking at tonight of what could have possibly happened here. And you can see there.
I can't believe it's still going.
To a red light right there.
Yeah, Desmond, apparently not following the traffic rules, because you showed us earlier where this driver was on the wrong side of the street on Crenshaw Boulevard, which he just turned from. Now he's on Martin Avenue.
Yep.
Somebody said, hopefully the driver is vaccinated.
Crenshaw just suddenly made that southbound turn on this one. So really being as difficult as the suspect possibly could be for us to be able to bring
Maybe it's the vaccine.
A good shot on this one, and making a right turn here around some.
Oh, Meg, thank you for watching that video.
Does appear to be slowing down. Look how many units are in pursuit.
Damn.
I
Look
think
at this.
that's telling me that, you know, when this does come to an end, they might just come and run up to the vehicle and try to end the situation. The one thing they really don't want to see is some kind of standoff situation. I mean, they would even probably prefer for the suspect to get out and run.
Somebody said the baby's the driver.
They could go and check the back seat and know for sure where that child is, if they are in the vehicle or not, and then, you know, if need be, they could chase down the suspect later. That's what they're thinking of more than anything, is the potential for an innocent child to be in the back. And we're not sure how old that child is. We just heard it's a young child. We don't know if they're a toddler, if they're
what is the plan for this driver?
5, 6 years old. If they're, I'm just thinking, if they were dropped off and they're a toddler, it's going to be very difficult to reunite that child with the mother. I suppose LAPD would know who the victim was, but still all kind of conjecture at this point as we turn onto Palmwood Drive, trying to bring this picture to you here on the edge of the LAX airspace.
Yeah, and you know what? That's near Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. They just passed Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall. When we said Marlton and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, and now he's off of Santa Rosalia Drive. Heavy residential area. A lot of apartment buildings over there, as you can see. Some office units, condos, homes, especially people off of Buckingham Drive that live in the Baldwin Hills area. That's an older, established community, and some people have lived in that area for years. So this is quite.
Going towards LAX, so they can't fly over there, right?
It's still a very highly populated area where, people are just trying to live their lives. So I can imagine this is a bit disconcerting. That's a shot of the mall again, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Santa Rosalia Drive, that are hearing the sirens and possibly just watching.
Ray McCray.
He's slowing down there, Pat.
Yeah, hopefully maybe he's stopping. All right, Desmond, can you pick up the action for us? He stopped behind this tree.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This tree.
And the police stopped, so that's a good sign.
As we come around, so at a stop in front of, looks like either a hotel or an apartment complex here on Santa Rosalia.
Yeah, those are condos.
Okay. Got it. We'll see if this is the end of this or not.
Almighty.
So,
what's going to happen now?
All the tires are pretty much flat. We'll zoom in here. We're really peering into this vehicle here. We're looking
kind of smoky,
quite
right?
a distance here.
Looks like, I don't know.
Santa Rosalia Drive.
They smoked out in there or something.
There, and let's hope that this is it. And I'm just hearing LAPD talk about getting all of the officers in position.
What the hell's going on inside that car?
In front. Maybe even set up some more spike strips, not too far in front of them, just to really want to box this suspect in. They're going to want to come in and lock down this parking lot as well. So it's going to take a lot of officers to get into place. And okay, the door is open.
Oh, shit.
Hands are up.
And we've got hands up, so a very, very good sign. And as long as they don't pull a fast one here, this means that there will not be a standoff situation. And now the question is really going to be, is there anyone in the back seat?
Yes. And at this point, walking, not actually toward, or is he now walking toward the officers? I couldn't tell at first, Desmond.
Well,
Jesus.
Looks like he's turning around.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, now, if he's going to try to...
You gonna run? What you doing?
No,
don't
he's
want to
going
second
down.
guess, but
Yeah.
now he's getting down.
yeah, okay.
But he's not
Something's wrong with this
staying
motherfucker. Something's off with him. Something wrong with this
Good
guy.
signals here, though. A lot of
Maybe
times,
they tell him to crawl or something.
LAPD's yelling this at them. I'm sure nerves are very high, and who knows what's going on with this suspect in their head right now, even though they're kind of fidgeting around all over the place and now behind this sign.
He's kind of crawling on his
kind of up on
belly.
Kind of crawling around here, but
his legs are crossed.
LAPD should be moving in here shortly.
Yeah, the hesitation, Des, of course, is maybe trying to discern whether or not this person is armed. That's where they're not rushing him.
Or a kid in the back seat,
even though he's on the ground.
Yes, that is probably part of it. That they may want to come up with a shield. They want to make sure that one of the leading officers will have a shield in front, just in case. Of course, they prepare for every situation. So that's most likely what they're saying. Probably wanted the suspect to lift up their shirt so they could see inside the waistband to see if there was anything. And again, as you said, Pat, we didn't hear exactly how this grand theft auto happened. If it happened with a weapon, if it at gunpoint, if it was forceful, or what all happened with that. But now kind of creeping back behind this bush, we just have not been able to get a good shot on this suspect just because of the nature of how this is all unfolding right now. But you
Cracked
see the
out,
spotlight
left
on
out
him,
something.
and there's a light from another LAPD vehicle.
Okay.
So they should be hopefully just moving in and then taking a look in that back seat.
Yeah, it's just so weird. Is he under the influence? What are officers telling him? We've never really seen somebody kind of spin around.
Shit was
hit the
bizarre,
ground,
man.
And then kind of a crawl over to the sidewalk here, in real, just in a million, just all over the place, Des.
And now, but still hasn't moved from that spot, Desmond.
Yeah.
You could tell. I mean, we haven't seen him emerge from behind that bush and in front of that Staples sign there. But again, noticeable that officers have not rushed to take this person into custody. Obviously being very, very careful. And I don't see any officers in front. Do you, Desmond? I mean, I see them all behind.
Yeah, I don't see any. There may be some way to the left there, farther to the east, but you saw all the units here to the right over towards the west of the end, and then there is a unit right here that's providing this light, and they're just trying to get these innocent people out of the way, I think, before they want to move in. But they are taking an unusually long amount of time to move in on a suspect that is on the ground. You still see the spotlight overhead from their helicopter that is still talking to the officers as well. They may want to come and move over towards the car first before they even come to the suspect, just listening to what they're saying.
Yeah, there's somebody there in the parking lot, some more cars.
Well, there are businesses. There's some restaurants that are still open.
Okay. Is that connected to the mall, Pat, or is that is? Okay.
This guy walking up.
I say that looks like a security guard.
This guy walking up.
Oh, no,
is that cop
someone
or
taking pictures? That's someone with a cell phone. Could be a
Stringer.
Resident.
What do they call him?
Or a resident or something.
Stringers, right? Gotta get it for the gram.
Yeah, just, it's been going on for a while, and anytime things go on for a while, it tends to attract a crowd. And so actually now we're seeing, quite a few. And you have a low-level helicopter as well. Anytime you have one of those, in your neighborhood, it generates a lot of buzz, and so people want to come out and see what all is going on. And then you have all of these flashing lights from the police as well. They were talking about something being on the passenger seat, but that they don't know what it is. And we can't quite tell what it is either. I see something green right there for a second while they had the light illuminating the inside. So they're talking about that. But it is still very unusual that they have not moved in at this point to see if there is anyone else in the car, or at the very least just take the suspect and put them in handcuffs.
Well, again, this is a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the police cars there. And again, these structures, these apartment buildings.
I wonder why they're not moving in on him if he's on the ground. And if there might be a baby in there.
Can be somewhat pricey in this market and in this particular economy. And then you've got a lot of people there. As I mentioned before, this is right near the mall, and some dining establishments are still open. Now we see a contingent.
Come on.
Check the car first, I guess, huh?
Take that early shit away.
Yeah, looks like that's what I was thinking, that they're going to want to go check that car. They don't know if there's any other suspects. They don't know if there's a child. Now they're going to come in, and let's see if they pull anyone else out of here.
Looks like they've got their eyes on him there, Desmond. Using the car a little bit as a...
Well, they did make them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now they're going to look in the trunk, and that's why you still see officers with guns drawn, because there's a possibility. Wow! Look at this.
Oh, no way, baby!
Child in the back seat, a very young child.
Wow!
A very young child in a toddler in a car seat right there. So indeed, there was.
Holy crap, bro!
Very disturbing.
I don't think I've ever seen a chase like that.
You can see the child is safe. The mother will be extremely relieved.
Oh, no kidding.
And knowing now, that it was a toddler, just be able to confirm that there was a child in there.
There they
really
go.
crazy stuff.
Yes, and
now coming
shotgun
to take the suspect into custody.
And seeing just how that suspect was behaving when they got out of the vehicle there, how frightening is that? I mean, that's just so scary, because we don't know what.
Who knows what he would have done with that kid?
Mental state this person is in, or if they're under the influence or whatever. But it looks like they're taking this person into custody, Desmond.
Yeah, something wasn't right with that guy.
No.
They are.
There
and,
he is.
My hope is that that child was young enough that they're not going to remember this as well. It looked like, a very young child. You could just imagine how traumatizing this could be for someone, but it looked to be a very, very young child. Here goes the suspect now back into the back, and so this person is potentially going to be facing even more, almost certainly more serious charges now. An attempt in
That's Cali. He'll be out.
Auto.
He'll be out
I'm sure
tomorrow.
they're going to want to go for kidnapping on this as well. And we have no idea the connection, if any, between this and the victim. Was it random? Was this someone?
Was it dad,
the victim
boyfriend,
knows?
mama's boyfriend?
But what a relief that this did not end. We know how awful these pursuits can end, and this one came to. It was very stressful, but a peaceful resolution, and nobody was injured.
Yeah, good job on part of LAPD. And let's add child endangerment to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Considering just how reckless that person was driving. All right, Des, thanks so much. We're going to wrap this up and move on to other news at this hour.
Ooh.
Okay, a deadly crime spree targeting Southland 7-Elevens.
That's right, 6 stores hit.
The family is now certainly en route to this
The baby!
location to be reunited with their child here after their child was a passenger in quite a bit of a scary situation.
Take me to outer
through
space.
South LA, almost to the west side here of LA. That child
Amazing, huh? That's
now
good that the kid's
in
okay.
the safe hands of an LAPD officer.
That's incredible. Amazing. Maybe they're related or something. Maybe they know each
He
other.
doesn't seem scared at all. He's enjoying all the attention, looking at all the blinking lights. Very cool.
Trying to do an updated thumbnail while I'm here. Yeah, I wonder if they could be related or something.
Yes, Jack. Santa Rosalina and what's the other cross here? Santa Rosalina and Stalker Street. This is the Lamert Park, Crenshaw area, kind of on the border. Not quite Baldwin Hills. Nope, got it here. The kid is being held by this officer in the doorway there. Okay. I don't need the plate. We just want to keep eyes on the kid.
What city? I don't know. Good question.
Are you able to hear Jack, Harry? Okay, copy. 4 on this ship. 4.
LA. Yeah, if you guys get the like button, I'd appreciate
So
that.
Jack, just FYI, we have
Please.
this cloud deck coming in that may or may not push us away. Okay, copy that. Copy that. Copy that.
I already have mods. I probably have more than I should actually. I think. I'm gonna keep it small, tight crew. I guess that's it. Let me see if there's anything else on it. That's probably it. My 2010 video. Yeah, that was pretty nuts. I dropped that video like in July. I was gonna say July. I don't know when I did it. A couple months ago, but it was just members only. So I put it public today. A pretty crazy story. More cops.
So we'll see here. We'll see if there's a handoff here. If the child is
Thanks, Sherry.
handed off to this other officer that just pulled up here, it does not appear so.
I wonder if they're waiting for the parent, or are they just gonna? That's what I wonder. Jade says stolen vehicle or intended kidnapping. I don't know if we're gonna, maybe by tomorrow, or who knows, a little later, maybe we'll get more information. Debbie, what's up? How you doing? Still upset? Why are you upset? I don't know. Take the baby to the hospital, Bree says. I wonder if they're like waiting for the parent. Something.
He's probably coming here. There is an ambulance en route here to attend to. Probably just check the child, make sure the child is okay.
Yeah, it was a good ending, huh? Yeah, this is live right now. This is this might be the last feed. I don't know if there's any other feeds.
We're keeping our eyes trained on the passenger side of this LAPD patrol car, where the child that got the ride along of a lifetime in a pursuit in the pursuit suspect vehicle is now being cared for by these LAPD officers. The initial pursuit started when a vehicle was stolen from a family as they were gassing up in the downtown LA area. The family is now en route to this location to be reunited with their child. What's that?
Is the last only remaining feed? Gotcha. I wonder if I still have the. Let me see the. That scanner audio. Did you guys hear about that woman in Texas that I was gonna bring it up during one of the lives, but there's a woman in Texas that like she's pregnant. And she was driving in the lane, the HO, what do they call it? The HOV lane or something like that. And the cop pulls her over because you're supposed to be driving with, I guess, 2 or more passengers. I mean, 2 or more people. And she said she's pregnant. And so like now it's become a thing and she's going to go to court and fight it or something. See if I can pull it up. I had it the other day, but pregnant Texas woman says unborn baby should count as car passenger after receiving HOV ticket. I think she's done some interviews too. Plano, Texas. Does being pregnant count? Should she be able to drive in the HOV lane? I guess it depends. Some people don't see it as a human life yet. Does it matter maybe how far along she is? I'm gonna show it to you guys after
Yes,
this.
sir, Jack. Still in the passenger seat.
It's becoming like a big deal though, kind of. She's gonna go fight it. Yes, if they consider a fetus a baby, then it should be counted as a second person. But do they though, or does it depend? Because some people don't consider it a baby, right? Or I guess it depends on the person's beliefs or something. The baby counts. Oh, okay. They took away abortions because of Roe v. Wade or whatever. So they would consider it a life then. You can let it. We're talking about the topic, Bridget. So people are gonna say how they feel about that. That's okay. When I bring up stuff like that, that conversation is gonna happen. It's all right. I don't mind. Go for the ride. Not every state. According to the SC, then it's a baby after 15 weeks, so it's a life. Pregnant woman privilege. Are they leaving? Oh, there's the paramedics. Fire rescue. So I guess they'll probably check the baby, check the vitals and stuff like that. Parents in their way. Oh yeah. True. There's another thing we can talk about as well. We could update the story from the other day as well. That story that I covered was, let me pull up the picture. I forgot the names. I think it was Don something. Where's that picture? There we go. But they went on a supposed camping trip and they were actually they were found dead. Donna Faye Rowe. So we'll talk about the baby, the pregnant mama. We'll take a look at that story, and then we'll talk about this, I guess, murder-suicide situation that took place. Bridge. Me message you.
Yeah, Jack. They moved him from one car to the car in front.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, they found that mom and daughter dead. I'm guessing she killed him. There's another story too that I was gonna talk about as well. I was actually gonna do it earlier today, so I might not talk. Well, I mean now it's past it, but I might do it for tomorrow. About this father and like the three kids or something like that. I think it's 3 kids that are missing.
Car seat back in the pursuit vehicle. Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about. That Don.
The
teenage autistic girl who went. Oh, out the window. Are you talking about that one? That's Kaylee Jones. I haven't checked.
I thought it was the one on the right. Let me see here.
I need to clip that video from the stream, and I want to post that video. But I haven't checked. We can check real quick and see.
I don't think this one's it. I think it's this one.
Dad and 3 kids. They're still. There was like a sighting. They thought they were seen at Cracker Barrel, but I guess they said it's not. It wasn't them.
Well, they all got together, and they moved the kid when they were all in a group. I think they put him in this car in the front. Let me see what the medics are doing here. I still believe the kid's in this car.
Dad went fishing at 11 p.m.
Yeah. No, I think they put him in this car in front.
Oh, is that what it was, Ashley? With the autistic girl and the mother? Dylan Rounds, they arrested a suspect. I believe that was the last I looked. There's a suspect in Dylan Rounds' disappearance has violent past. Neighbor named as suspect in disappearance.
I think he's in this one. I don't know. They all moved around.
Nobody knows where the baby's at.
Coming back here. This might be the family.
There we go. Let's see.
Well, maybe they're just coming through.
Oh, he bonded out? Amanda, what's up? He bonded out but couldn't leave the feds holding him. Oh. Los Angeles, California.
If I had to guess, I believe that the kid is still on scene here, and they're going to bring the family here. I don't know why they would separate the kid from the car seat unless they're going to bring them all back here.
Like, what happened? What? Let's see if I can do this.
You still got the scene? Yeah, we're over like the mall. Or not the mall per se, but a little strip mall here. Yeah. I'm not sure. Did they sneak him in there?
Jesus.
Yeah, but I saw them have the kid outside of the car. Let's see. Someone else just pulled up here.
Oh,
here we go.
Hey,
here we go.
Mama! There's
Here's
Mama.
a family member running.
Mama! Mama. Mama, you know I love you.
Okay,
Mama,
okay.
you know I love you. Mama.
Okay.
A little too much. There's Mama. It's a good, happy story with a happy ending. Yay.
And now we have the mother inside the ambulance with the child.
So I wonder if she knew the guy. Or was it random?
Sorry, Jack, had a cloud come through the shot. So as we drift to the left, we're getting a little bit of a palm tree in the shot.
Well, reunited. Oh. Don't you know? All right. While that's there, let me see if I can do this. Do that. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's listen to this real quick, unless they come back. This is the whole Texas thing. Texas story. Pregnant lady, okay, gets pulled over for driving the HOV lane, the high capacity, what is it? High something? High occupancy or something like that? Lane. You got to have more than one person. And she says she's pregnant. I do have more than one person.
Fighting a ticket along with a much bigger battle after she got pulled over by police for riding solo in the HOV lane.
I can see the signs. It says HOV parentheses 2.
The HOV lane requires drivers to have at least one passenger in their cars when they use the lane, but at 34 weeks pregnant, Brandy Batone had an answer for the officer.
He starts peeking around. He's like, "Is it just you?" And I said, "No, there's two of us." And he's like, "Well, where's the other person?" And I went, "Right here."
After the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade on June 24th, Batone said if an unborn child is considered a living person, she had every right to be there.
And I said, "Well, not trying to throw a political mix here, but with everything going on, this counts as a baby."
Ooh. Although the penal code in Texas recognizes a fetus as a person, it appears there's no language in the state transportation department's code that recognizes a fetus as a person or a passenger.
What this is expressing is the complication of the inconsistent methods that Texas uses to define who is
mom and baby being safely reunited outside the ambulance. The baby being looked at by LA City Fire paramedics.
HOV lane is like those express lanes, but you have to have an extra person in the vehicle to take the express lane. I think is what it is. I think it's like a faster thing, but you have to have an extra person in the car. Amazing.
Yeah.
Baby. You don't want to look in there.
Get back in their car. The thing
she gonna take off?
The car has two flat tires in it.
They're gonna let her take off with the baby? No car seat?
Hopefully.
No, there's no way that she's gonna take off. She's probably just checking it out.
Somebody to get out here and get them two new tires. But you have mother and baby back in their car. And a happy ending to this story. One more time, Jack. Back to base.
I know. Yeah. My God. I got to deal with that.
Oh. Okay, copy.
And she just takes off. Thank y'all, police officers. Bye. Wait, no, yeah. Miss, no.
Well, they did what they needed to do. Yeah, I think she's just. I did see at least one or two. At least one or two, Jack.
Are you having a disagreement? Or no, they're just, it's okay. How does anyone know she's the custodian of that child?
Well, it has two flat tires.
Well, I still want to take off. If I want to leave, it's my choice. Pregnant women have been trying to use a carpool lane for a long time. Also, it's not a new thing, huh? Even I tried to do it in Arizona and I got a ticket. So you guys don't think she's gonna get out of that then? Because she's gonna go fight the ticket. You think she can actually win or no? Because of the whole, because it's in Texas, and they identify a fetus as a life. Baby driver. Imagine that. Somebody had said earlier there was like some sort of, I guess, a story with a 5-year-old or something that had taken a car. Was it a 5-year-old? Or I don't know how old they were. You think she will win? Yeah. Quiet Country Creation says she will win.
and who is not a person. The law literally defines who counts as a person in different ways, in different contexts. What she is doing is forcing the law to define who's a person or an individual in ways that it didn't think about, that are going to be really, really difficult to do.
We reached out to the Sheriff's Department and the State Transportation Department, but have not heard back. Deputies told Batone that if she fought the ticket, it would likely be dismissed. She plans to fight the ticket of about $200 with the argument that her in utero baby should count as another occupant of her vehicle.
I really don't feel like it's right, because one law is saying it one way, but then another law is saying it another way.
If the authorities don't just drop it, which would be the smart thing to do.
Photog down here. It looks like it could be a stringer.
Get the stringer. Get the stringer. Where's the baby? In the front seat? Take me to a high place. Stringers are the people that on the ground, like independent, I guess you could say, reporters, kind of people just, going with their cameras or cell phones and streaming online. So they chase after like car chases or accidents and things like that. Mm-hmm.
You run the risk of it landing in the courtroom of a judge who wants to use this to make a point, specifically a political point. And under those circumstances, it could become a bigger bombshell than it already is.
All right. And with that, Morgan Chesky joins us now live from Texas. So, Morgan, a lot of people are going to be following this story. What's next in this case?
Yeah, Tom, that is a very good question. And the answer could be that Batone may be in a courtroom or a delivery room, because her up.
Is that a stringer or a news person? Oh.
The mom's going to do an interview with somebody.
Oh. Gotta get that, you know what I'm saying? Clicks, man.
Yeah.
Where can we watch it?
I don't think this is a stringer, though, Jack. They have a mic flag. I can't tell what it is, though. This guy on the right is RMG. I can tell you that much.
What's RMG?
What's his name? I think his name is Steve.
They're gonna do an interview. Hey.
Copy that, Jack?
Anybody know where that feed is at? Can we watch it?
So you have a local affiliate is the guy on the left. The guy on the right is RMG. So you're gonna get sound.
Oh.
Hopefully RMG's sound is good.
That's their people? RMG?
I think the guy on the left is 9.
What does he have in his hand? Somebody said a lightsaber?
I recognize him. That's Steve
Mac,
from RMG.
Mac says he got his lightsaber
from
stick.
My days as a stringer.
Oh, he was a stringer too? The guy is talking?
What?
I wish we could hear. Where's that at?
Here's someone else joining the pack. It's a full-on press conference.
One is KCal. I pulled up KTLA, but they're not doing it. Let me try the other one. KCal.
We gotta let the baby hold the mic now. We've come this far.
Dip in the presidential pool. But overnight, the mood had been ugly when police fired tear gas.
All good.
They might be just recording it. Maybe it's not on air. I don't see any live feeds right now. Yeah, maybe they're gonna air it later. Maybe they'll edit and chop it. Stringers live.
Looks like KTLA and 9 are gonna have their own sound, but you do have the stringer here.
What is it, KTLA?
Feeling supported, bad vibes started. This is Activia Plus.
For the gram.
And in Texas, there's new debate over what exactly constitutes personhood following the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Brandy Batone was pulled over just last month and given a ticket for driving in the HOV lane, which is designed for 2 or more passengers, because she was allegedly alone. But she argues that her unborn baby should count as a second passenger,
beautiful disaster.
citing the state's penal code that recognizes a fetus as a person.
He starts peeking around. He's like, "Is it just you?" And I said, "No, there's 2 of us." And he's like, "Well, where's the other person?"
All right, Jack, we're getting pushed lower and lower by the clouds
Carjack
here.
from downtown LA, leading the officers in a pursuit that lasted quite a while on surface streets through South LA. Let's go to some video that we shot just moments after this pursuit came to an end. The driver pulling over and surrendering to officers. When the officers pulled up to the car, they found that toddler inside the car in a child seat asleep. You see that officer running that child back to his vehicle safe and sound. But again, this pursuit started, like I said, in downtown LA with a carjacking, and that driver led officers on a very dangerous high-speed chase through the South LA area, sometimes going on the wrong side of the road on Crenshaw Boulevard. We saw that vehicle do that. But again, it ended up hitting 2 separate spike strips before coming to an end here. The driver surrendering to officers and that child being rescued from that vehicle. The mother was just reunited with that child here and is in her arms safe and sound. That's the very latest overhead in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Gil Levis in Sky 5, thank you. Manhunt is underway tonight for an armed robber wanted in a deadly string of holdups at 7-Eleven stores.
Oh, you guys heard about that earlier?
The shootings have left at least 2 people dead and 3 others
Somebody
wounded. Robberies
shooting
believed
and killing all 7-Eleven.
The same man have been reported in Upland, Ontario, Riverside,
They still didn't catch this guy?
La Habra, and Brea.
KTLA Sandra Mitchell is standing by live in Brea with the latest information on the deadly spree. Sandra?
Get the baby.
Yeah, unbelievable. A really violent crime spree. This gunman shooting his way through robberies for 5 hours. He still has not been caught. And tonight, for the very first time, we are hearing from the girlfriend of the man who was shot and killed at this location.
Shit. He's just like the most caring and compassionate person.
The girlfriend of a 7-Eleven clerk shot and killed in a robbery in Brea told us about 40-year-old Matthew Hirsch.
He loved his job, and I know it's just 7-Eleven, but he lived for this place. Like, he really did.
Investigators say this is the gunman that could be responsible for killing Hirsch, another man, and wounding 3 others in a string of 7-Eleven store robberies from Riverside to Santa Ana.
We got someone who's very dangerous and violent out there.
6 7-Elevens?
So we want to work with.
Oh, it was 7-Eleven. Well, it still is, right? In Cali?
Get this guy in custody as soon as we can.
Just before 4:30 this morning, the first deadly shooting, a 7-Eleven clerk killed inside the Brea store on Brea Boulevard.
On 7-Eleven, so that's why they do it's the slippery day, right?
Be a robbery that turned into a homicide. Our detectives are actively working the crime scene and all of the leads that they have so far.
Detectives throughout the Southland soon heard about other 7-Eleven robberies. Just before midnight, a 7-Eleven robbed in Upland. Investigators believe the same gunman then robbed the 7-Eleven on North Vine Avenue in Ontario. And then, just before 2 a.m., the 7-Eleven on La Sierra in Riverside was hit.
The victim here who was shot is a customer, was not the clerk. It doesn't look like the clerk was harmed in any way.
Then another shooting, a man killed in the 7-Eleven parking lot on 17th Street in Santa Ana. Within the hour, the deadly shooting at the Brea location. The crime spree continued. Less than 40 minutes later, 2 people shot at the 7-Eleven on Whittier Boulevard in La Habra. Police tonight have released a more detailed description of the gunman, saying he is a black male, 5'10", about 160 pounds, and wearing a dark hoodie with white lettering and green leaves on it. Of course, if you spot that suspect or might know who he is, you should call 911. You're looking at this memorial set up in the parking lot. You can see the cardboard signs tacked to the pole here at the 7-Eleven in Brea. Just a few moments ago, I did speak to the girlfriend of the man who was shot in Riverside. She said he is in critical condition, a father of 3. We're live tonight in Brea. I'm Sandra Mitchell, KTLA 5 News. Micah and
Diggs, again, no notifications.
Right, Sandra,
I keep forgetting.
You. And now attend the shocking video and attack of Olympic athlete and model Kim Glass. The 2008 silver medalist posted videos on social media saying a homeless man hit her in the eye with a pipe in downtown L.A. in an unprovoked attack.
I mean, this is LA
KTLA
News,
5
but...
Shelby Nelson shows us what happened.
This homeless man ran up. He had something in his hand he was on the other side of the car in the street. And he just looked at me with some pretty hateful eyes. I do have multiple fractures up here and a small one here.
A violent attack leaving Olympic silver medalist Kim Glass bruised and battered. Glass taking to Instagram to recount the moment she was attacked on Friday in downtown LA at Olive and 8th Streets. Her right eye closed shut with swelling. This is new video of the aftermath. Chaos after Glass says she was just leaving lunch with a friend when she noticed a man run up with something in his hand. At first, she thought he was going to hit a nearby car, but before she knew it, he threw an object at her that appeared to be a metal pipe.
It happened so fast, he literally flung it from the street, so he was not even close to me at all.
I go across the street right here in front of the Starbucks, and I see homeless dude on the floor and some lady on the floor screaming with blood dripping all over.
Jason Aleman is usually in the area waiting to deliver food for nearby restaurants.
Yeah,
he
look at him
happened
styling
to be
out.
nearby when he heard screaming. Video shows others helping Glass while she was on the ground. Aleman says bystanders weren't letting the suspect get away. 51-year-old Simeon Tesfamariam was booked for felony assault with a deadly weapon. The Sports Illustrated model and former U.S. Olympic volleyball star says the attack left her with a fractured cheek, bloody nose, and bruises. She also needed stitches. The 37-year-old went on to thank family and friends for their support. And you saw just how bad those injuries look. Kim Glass says that she's going to be okay. Fortunately, will not suffer any permanent damage to her eye, but she wanted to publicize this to make sure that people are aware of their surroundings and
lot of
that
crazy
they are safe.
people out
Meantime,
there.
the suspect is being held without bail. Reporting at LAPD headquarters, I'm Shelby Nelson, KTLA 5 News.
All right.
A violent altercation with an inmate that was caught on surveillance video has led to an excessive force investigation within the LA County Sheriff's Department. It happened at the inmate.
All right. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with this pregnant woman. I think we did see this clip already. What, did we see this?
And I went right here.
Right there. NBC News reporter Callan Rosenblatt joins us now with a closer look at the details.
We'll listen to
of the
this
story.
clip and then.
I mean, this story has fascinated a lot of people. This woman's driving. We all know
I
how
don't
the
think it's that
HOV lane
fascinating.
works. Supposed to have a minimum of 2 people. When she says to the officers, "It's right here. I got a whole baby." What does the officer say to her?
Well, the officer said to her, in her words, "I'm not dealing with this. I am not touching this." He said, you know, when you're in an HOV lane, a carpool lane, you have to have a person outside of the body to count as a second person. But he basically told her, you know, you got to talk to the courts about this. I can't help you, you know, take this ticket, which is an over $200 ticket, and go argue it with the courts, which is now what she plans to do. But, you know, in her words, the officer basically said, "I wash my hands of this. You got to deal with this elsewhere."
Which is interesting because I heard the Transportation Authority was trying to essentially say it's about seats. You have to have 2 people in 2 different seats. Now, you know, my family lives in Atlanta, and I know I've seen a lot of HOV lanes. Trust me, I've tried to use them, and I've never seen seats specified, but you do see people specified. So it's an interesting, you know, argument, rhetorical or otherwise. But what happens next in this case? I mean, what can she actually do?
Well, you know, legal experts are a little mixed about how the courts will handle this. She does say she plans to go to court. She plans to say, you know, under Texas law, you recognize an unborn child as a person. Now, some legal experts have also specified that the penal code says that, but the transportation code does not, or it doesn't specify. So she plans to take this to court. She plans to use that argument. And some legal experts have said, you know, we're going to see arguments like this. It could set potentially a new precedent, but we'll see when she takes this ticket to court.
Speaking of that, I mean, I know that you're always in touch with all the social media, sort of even the feelings sometimes, the general sentiment that people express on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. What are people kind of saying about this case? Are they generally seeming like they're in support of her, or thinking this is, you know, a silly argument?
You know, I've seen responses. I've even gotten emails about people on both sides of that argument. Some saying this is very silly. You know, they don't agree with her. They don't think she's going to win this case. And others saying, you know what, if a government, you know, the state government is going to legislate a woman's body, use this argument. It's a good argument. And some people feel that, you know, this is a byproduct of this new law recognizing, you know, a fetus as a person in Texas.
Fascinating, and the way in which it affects our everyday lives.
Absolutely.
All right, Callan Rosenblatt, thank you.
So just touching real quick on this. Some of you might remember I covered this story the other day. I wish I could find the image that I had, but I mean, if I Google it, I can, but So, family members said Friday that a missing woman and her 17-year-old daughter, I thought she was 16, were found dead in Oregon. Caldwell police had been looking for the 51-year-old Donna Faye Rowe and 15-year-old Gabrielle Michelle Rowe after they were last seen driving westbound on Interstate 84, Fruitland, on June 30th. Police say they received an official missing persons report July 5th. Police confirmed with CBS that it's believed to be a murder-suicide. Today, the family has received the devastating news that my sister and mother, Gabrielle and Donna Rowe, have been located after a statewide search. According to They Gotta GoFundMe. Family members of Gabrielle say Gabrielle had Down syndrome, was mentally between the ages of 6 and 7, and that Donna had severe mental health issues. My mother battled with and eventually succumbed to mental illness, and Gabby was a victim of mental illness as well. The Grant County Sheriff's Office said the van was located northwest Juicy, I think, Oregon, after ranch workers found the vehicle Thursday at 1 p.m. Let's see, there's a little video for this, I think. I'm guessing she went and killed. She has issues, of course, but I guess she went and killed this girl because they said that CPS was closing in on her and that she was being investigated. And she had quit her job a week before this whole thing happened. I think that's what it said.
A missing Caldwell mother and her 17-year-old daughter now found dead. A murder-suicide. CBS 2's Angela Kerndl is following the story for us, and she's live in studio with the details we know. Angela?
Yeah, the family is commenting on this tonight on its GoFundMe page. 51-year-old Donna Faye Rowe and 17-year-old Gabrielle Michelle Rowe were listed as missing, last seen headed west on I-84 near Ontario on June 30th. Officers say ranch workers found the pair dead in a remote part of Grant County, Oregon, near Harney County's border yesterday afternoon. Police confirmed with CBS 2 it appears to have been a murder-suicide. Their family states on a GoFundMe page that Donna suffered from mental illness and that while Gabrielle was 17 years old, she had Down syndrome and was mentally between the ages of 6 and 7. On the GoFundMe, the family writes, "My mother battled with and eventually succumbed to mental illness, and Gabby was a victim of that illness as well." Caldwell police are also reacting tonight.
Well, it's obviously a tragedy and a travesty that, we have. I think the bigger issue is mental illness in this country right now and services that we need to provide for mentally ill people. And obviously mental illness probably played a factor into this incident.
Everybody's mentally ill.
Unfortunately, the police have a tough job and they can't save everyone.
And Chief Ingram says an endangered missing person alert wasn't activated because to the best of his agency's knowledge, they were going on a camping trip. And while the mother had a history of mental illness, nothing specifically said that she would put her and her daughter in danger. The family says they will use money raised from its GoFundMe page for funeral and transfer expenses. Money left over will go to organizations that benefit people with Down syndrome. So far, they've raised just under $1,500. And if you're in crisis or could use some help, you could call the Idaho Crisis Suicide Hotline. That number is 800-273-8255. Live in studio.
So rest in peace to the little girl. I mean, let's the GoFundMe there, and then there's some pictures as well. All right, let me put this up here. Avery, thank you so much for the super chat. Have you seen the case of Vaughn and Dre McCrae? It's pretty interesting. I've been thinking of covering that. Molly Golightly was telling me about it. Well, not really telling me about it. She was telling me I should cover it. I might do something. She might jump on one day. I kind of looked into it a bit. I watched video. Well, not really, like short snippets, but there's like hours of stuff to watch. I was trying to see how to cover that because there's so much of it. So if Molly came on at one point, she'd probably be break it down. Maybe we could collab or something. But she's been covering that story. I think she was one of the first people to jump on it, and it's like gaining traction on Facebook, and I guess YouTube maybe now. The other thing, I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna do it right now, but I was looking into. I mean, I could play one clip. Maybe we'll cover it tomorrow or not. Depends on what happens. Indy father 3 missing children, not the ones in Whitestone restaurant.
His 3 kids.
Been following the Justice for Vaughn situation. Who in the chat's been following it? Stacy. Avery. Tonight, Molly was covering it 6 days now. What do you guys think of the story? The people that have been following it, what's going on with that? A member too. I think you did. I remember you did the other day actually. Thanks, appreciate it, man.
In the aftermath of.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this story. I'm going to kind of keep an eye on it. Maybe I'll cover it. We'll see what happens. The Dre McCrae thing, I don't really. The only thing I can grasp so far, maybe, I guess, is that this woman is with this guy and they have kids together and she's a social media
resource for parents,
influencer. And I mean, I don't want to say because I don't really understand, but I guess she was like, I don't know, giving him kratom or something like that. or he took away his medication, his epilepsy medication, and started treating him herself or some shit like that. And then the guy goes to like kill himself, or he tries to, and then he's in the hospital on life support. I don't know. Something. I haven't really followed too. They believe she has Munchausen. I did see like the video where the guy was like on life support and she's like there on video smiling and some shit. It looked kind of weird. So she controlled everything and everyone. What about the kids? The kids in that other story with the Dre McRae, are they okay? With this guy, I hope this doesn't turn out to be the situation like with this other people. This guy has full custody of his kids too, from what I saw somewhere. And they're saying it's not like him. He wouldn't do this. He would not just run off. What the hell just happened? Molly has a 30-minute video. Yeah, I might check that one out. I heard she has a 30-minute, like, CPS is involved now? Oh. Oh, thank you, Avery. I appreciate that. Gmail. But you said you sent it to my Gmail? Send your short timeline to your Gmail. I don't see it. Unless you sent it to my main email. The iCkEdMeL. I'll take a look at it though. I might dabble in it. But yeah, Molly Golali's kind of head spearing it or whatever. That story. Yeah, Marine on life support. Did you see in Philly where 4 girls and boys are killed? An old man with a 4 girls and boys killed an old man with a traffic cone. What? And only 2 turned themselves in. One was like 11. No. How do you kill somebody with a traffic cone? Well, that's the thing too. Yeah, he's like on life support. I think they're saying he's in really bad condition, right? The guy Vaughn, right? I think they say like his chances of surviving are like, I don't know, none. Or it's like I don't know if they're saying he's brain dead, so she won't let the family see him. Really? Traffic cone beating? What the heck? Let me see real quick. Traffic cone. It's just odd. Yeah. Oh, see, look, I did have some things open here too. I had this tab thing full, and I lost it all the other day, because I was kind of looking a little bit into this story. This is without a crystal ball. But all right, let me check this out real quick.
New tonight in Philadelphia, two brothers, ages 14 and 10, have turned themselves into police after authorities unveiled a video of a disturbing attack on an elderly man. The video shows 7 young people in all laughing as they repeatedly beat the man with a traffic cone. When first responders arrived, they found the 73-year-old man lying on the ground. He died the following day from his injuries. The attack happened last month.
Wow.
State lawmakers missed their midnight deadline.
That's crazy. Anyway, man, I'm going to head out, I guess, call it a night. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already. And yeah, thanks for the support. We'll see what we cover next. I have no idea what's next. This justice for Ron thing might be something. But we're going to be fishing and covering probably a variety of stories. And this Friday is supposed to be Corey Bigsby's family, some sort of press conference or some, I don't know, yeah, some public video they're going to put out. So that I'm kind of curious to see. And there should be some interesting trials coming up. So should be getting back to hopefully more consistency. Oh, and if you haven't seen the story from yesterday, go and check. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't know. It was a good story I did. I'm going to be looking to try to update that story. Check that out. Felicia Johnson. All right. So, good night. Peace. Bye.